Working with a financial advisor can help you achieve your goals, but some common mistakes that people make when choosing one can cost you serious amounts in the long run. I'm Sian, and in this video, I will walk you through 5 typical mistakes to avoid in the process to help you make the most of it. Number 1, not understanding how your advisor is paid. The financial industry can be frustratingly opaque, and that especially applies when it comes to the compensation structure for advisors. It's important to understand how exactly your advisor is making money in your relationship because that's what determines their incentives. What kind of outcomes end up putting more money into your advisor's pocket versus not? These will fundamentally determine the type of service that you receive from the advisor, and it's important to help you understand what types of potential conflicts of interest may come up and for you to watch out for. Pay attention to terms like fee only, fee based, and no fee. A fee only advisor is someone who only earns money from the money that you directly pay them in your relationship. A fee-based and a no-fee advisor, on the other hand, can earn money from commissions for specific products that they sell you. In other words, they're not just incentivized by the money you pay them in this relationship, they may be incentivized for nice commissions that they can earn on specific products. Fee-based and no-fee advisors may have special existing relationships with companies where they can earn high commissions on particular products. Keep in mind that any product that can afford to pay a high commission to the seller must be because they are overcharging you, the buyer. Examples of the types of products that a fee-based or no-fee advisor might be trying to sell you are any type of investment fund with a higher expense ratio than would normally you get in a different option. Or it could be certain insurance products, life insurance products that cost more or are much more than you need to pay. So why do incentives matter? Let's look at an analogy. Consider a dietitian and a butcher. Who would you go to for holistic advice on what to eat? The answer seems obvious. If you went to the butcher would just try to sell you steak. They're not necessarily being a bad person, but that's how they're incentivized. They earn their livelihood through selling meat. It's what they know. The principles here for food apply the same way as they do for your money. You should make sure that the advisor you work with is incentivized to give you the best advice, not just to sell you specific products. Mistake number 2, not knowing how much you're actually paying. If you're working with an advisor, do you know exactly how much money you paid them last year? In the financial industry, it can be much more confusing to answer this question than with any other type of professional service relationship you may have had. You may have worked with a lawyer before who bills you hourly for the amount of time you work together, or perhaps you use an accountant who charges you a flat fee every year. With a financial advisor relationship, because they are directly managing your money and your investments, oftentimes the fees you pay are just directly taken out of your account balances without you needing to look it over or sign some sort of bill. This is why it can be easy for those types of fees to be very hidden, simply baked into what's going on as you work together. Let's say that you have $1 million that your advisor manages. Those $1 million are invested into the market, which means that they are growing over time, but fluctuating constantly. How easily would you be able to tell if your account balance at a given point in time was $5,000 lower or $10,000 lower because of the fees that your advisor charges? Fee amounts that might give us sticker shock in any other context might be barely noticeable in the context of a large investment account. Once you do understand exactly what you're paying, consider negotiating. If your advisor uses an assets under management or AUM model to charge, and especially if your account balances have grown over time, have that conversation. If your asset balances have doubled since the time that you've worked together, that means that the amount of fees you're paying your advisor has also doubled. But keep in mind, it's highly unlikely that it costs your advisor twice as much time and energy to manage those investments as they did before. Mistake number 3, misunderstanding fiduciary versus suitability, which are two different standards of care for how a financial advisor works with you as the client. A fiduciary standard means that the financial advisor must always place the client's interests above their own and avoid conflicts of interest. A suitability standard, on the other hand, simply means that the advisor must prove that their recommendations to you are suitable for your needs, but don't necessarily have to be the best option. A lower standard of care than fiduciary. Unfortunately, over the years, fiduciary has become something of a buzzword and a marketing tactic. Confusingly enough, advisors can be dually registered, which means that sometimes they act with a fiduciary standard, but sometimes they act with a suitability standard. The problem is, you can never tell which hat they're wearing. Clearly, it's not in your best interests to work with an advisor who can claim to be a fiduciary, but at any given point in time, put on their other hat and put their own interests ahead of yours, the client. Most advisors know that within this confusing landscape, many consumers have latched on to terms like fiduciary to try to help them sort through all the chaff. And so many times, an advisor will simply answer your question with, "Yes, I'm a fiduciary," while neglecting to tell you that it's on a part-time basis and that they can also work with a suitability standard. If you're going to use a financial advisor, make sure that they adhere to a fiduciary standard in all aspects of their relationship with you. Number 4 is having unrealistic expectations for your advisor. A financial advisor cannot help you beat the market or predict the future. The evidence shows over and over that very few investors can consistently beat the market. In fact, in a 15-year period between 2004 and 2019, over 90% of actively managed funds did worse than the S&P 500. There are many reasons and dynamics behind why this is, which could be its own video. But for our purposes, I'll just emphasize this. Even if you believe that there are a small but exemplary group of investors who can consistently beat the market, those individuals are not working as financial advisors. Financial advising is primarily a client services business, and most of their time is dedicated towards spending time in discussions with their clients or out prospecting for new business, not researching investments and focused on investing money. If you meet an advisor who tries to convince you that they can beat the market, I would advise you to run away. The other aspect of this is that you have a broad range of financial needs. Financial planning, investment management, taxes, insurance, and estate planning. Very few advisors are qualified or true experts to help you in all 5 of these areas. A high-quality advisor will understand their own gaps and help refer you to other professionals to meet those needs. The 5th and final mistake is going with the first advisor that you meet. Working with a financial advisor is a significant investment of both your time and money, so it's worthwhile doing the due diligence and fully researching to make sure that you get the most out of this relationship. Aim to interview at least 3 to 5 different advisors who you can be researching or finding out through recommendations of friends and family. This process helps you to sort through the weeds and also determine what types of things you are looking for specifically, what styles work for you, and what advisors click with you. Consider also asking the advisors for client references so you can get that point of view on what specific experiences people had working with the advisors. This sums up the 5 mistakes that people make when hiring a financial advisor. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment below. For more videos like this about how to make the most of your money, be sure to hit subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.